Well, hello there. I am Casey, and this is You Heard Me Right, a podcast that brings people together through creativity, collaboration, and colorful conversation. By this point in season 1, you probably have a pretty good idea about our whole vibe with the whole writer and the 2 sound artists and treehouse thing. But today's episode is, let's say, a slightly different take on the format, partially due to situational necessity, but mostly because Spotify is apparently cool with it. Thanks, y'all. Please enjoy a very special episode of You Heard Me Right.
You Heard Me Right presents Far Out, a narrative audio journey into the universe, well, not the entire universe, mostly just Atlanta. Oh, hello. I have not properly introduced myself. I'm the announcer, filling in for Casey's hosting duties while she handles a little situation. You see, today is a group recording day where writer Mark Kendall and audio artist Emmolei Sankofa and Klimchak were to discuss the writing and sound art inspired by the theme, Far Out. However, it appears that both Mark and Klimchak are having some difficulties making their way to the treehouse. We'll go now to a city street side where Mark and Klimchak are unknowingly having a chance encounter.
Hey man, I'm a little confused about where I am right now. Can you?
Yeah.
I need to turn around or something. Can you give me a hand?
Yeah, no, this is East Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yep. Gotcha.
Yeah, it's a lot of neighborhoods, that's true.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Atlanta's like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, because sometimes it's just like Atlanta is just like, it's just a bunch of traffic, you know?
Right.
Yeah, and then Atlanta will be like Peachtree Street. It's out of nowhere. But then, but then Atlanta also will be like West Peachtree Street.
Uh-huh.
And then there'll be like Peachtree Battle.
Yes,
and
I love that
Atlanta will put up a Peachtree Corners. And then Atlanta will be like Peachtree Industrial Boulevard.
I'm following you.
Yes, you know what I'm saying? Yes. And then, but don't forget, Atlanta also has an old Peachtree Road.
Okay.
But then Atlanta will be like, but wait, don't forget New Peachtree Road. And then Atlanta also has like a Peachtree Circle. Atlanta has a Peachtree Square. They may as well have a Peachtree Trapezoid.
Yeah, right.
You know, they also got like Peachtree Preschool, and then they also have Peachtree Elementary. They got Peachtree Middle, Peachtree High, Peachtree Baptist, Peachtree United Methodist, Peachtree Christian Scientist, Peachtree. I'm still figuring out. Who knows what happens after you die? I'm just trying to take the morals that my parents taught me, but still like create my own thing, you know?
Yeah, I know.
Atlanta be like Peachtree, traffic light, nope, that's just Peachtree. Bike lane, nope, Peachtree again. What'd you say your name was?
Klimchak.
You know, that's funny. That's actually Atlanta for Peachtree. Yeah, I promise. Look, Atlanta be like Peachtree alternate universe, you know, where it's just like, okay, so let's say you major in English like you always wanted to,
right?
And then you publish a novel, you marry the person you love, y'all have kids or whatever, maybe a dog or something, but in this alternate reality, you're allergic to good vibes. So at the end of the day, is it even worth it?
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, great.
Uh-huh. Okay, okay. Yeah, it's just gonna be straight ahead, and you'll see it come up on your left.
Oh.
Yeah, no problem.
Oh, for gosh sakes, I didn't even tell you where I was going.
Hey Casey, this is Lexi. I've only confirmed with one of today's guest artists so far, and she's en route now. But I'll keep trying to reach out to the others, and we'll get back to you as soon as I can. Talk soon.
Meanwhile, at the treehouse, guest audio artist Emily arrives for the group interview, throwing Team You Heard Me Right into quite the tizzy.
Hey guys, bring it in. Quick team check-in.
Cool. Okay, cool.
So clearly we don't have our talent here right now, save for Emily.
All right.
Mark and Klimchak are apparently both running significantly late. So what do you think we should, should we just start rolling on the talent we have and just, I'm sure they'll check in soon, right?
Yeah, let's just roll with Emily.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do that. Okay. Hey, Emily.
Yes.
So glad to have you with us right now. So if it's cool with you, we're gonna get rolling. To start off by asking you a few warm-up questions.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Emily, there is like a lot going on in our world today, and I was wondering, as a creator, what do you do in order to keep yourself grounded?
The thing that keeps me grounded is this saying that chaos is order seeking to emerge. And so whenever things get crazy, I'm like, what is coming up? What is emerging that is going to provide clarity? So that's what's been keeping me like attached to my work and focused, because like I feel like I'm really like the most creative when there's a lot of chaos happening. And I will say that I did like the brief period of quarantine, I guess, yeah. But I really enjoy silence. I enjoy stillness, and I really took that time to regroup and to, just experiment and explore and do more things that I wanted to do. And then, just get closer to freedom and independence, more freedom and independence. While you don't have people breathing down your back, asking for stuff and can you make this and can you make that? It's like I'm focusing on what I want to do, and then we'll get back to doing all the other stuff with like brands and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I really think I'm still unfolding. So it's just like I'm the most creative right now.
I'm so sorry. I'm getting a phone call. It's Mark, the writer. Just give me 1 sec. Hey, Mark, what's going on? Just wondering about your ETA?
Hey, Casey, yeah, how's it going? It looks like I'm about 2 weeks out, based on what I can tell.
2 weeks?
Yeah, I'm in traffic right now. I'm on 85, and I'm talking to the person next to me. This looks about 2 weeks. Yeah, it looks like we're stuck here for about the next 2 weeks or so. Yeah, so give me about like 2 weeks, and I should be there. That should give y'all enough time to y'all are watching like a show or something, that would be a good time to start a show.
We're not watching a show. We're recording the podcast. We need you.
Right. Well, I don't know. If y'all start like nightly screenings of the Umbrella Academy, I should be there in about like a season and a half.
How do we measure a season and a half? Wait, we're not.
A season and a third. I think each season's about 10 episodes long. So if you and everyone in the community, you organize like, a safe outdoor screening every night. You start at season 1, it's like 10 episodes. Give it another 4 episodes into season 2. I should be there for season 2, episode 5. Does that make sense?
Not really, Mark. I'm really gonna try to have to get you to get here.
No, traffic's really bad. Hence the 2 week thing. We're not moving. Strangely enough, I'm going about 80 miles an hour in the opposite direction.
The opposite direction?
They kind of said it'd be faster rather than staying on 85. If I just kind of like went home, chilled for 2 weeks, and then 2 weeks later it should open up.
So that's why.
So, you know what? I just checked my GPS phone. Sorry to cut you. I just checked my GPS phone. Says about a month. Says about a month.
How is it?
So like, I think maybe like, let's say, I don't know. I'm just kind of spitballing here.
Like, that's about 30 days,
That's
right?
a long...
Let's say we want to get to, like, episode 15 of Umbrella
No,
Academy.
we're not watching
One night, you in the community, you could watch an outdoor episode of... The next day, you could, like, decompress. You know what I'm saying? Almost kind of do, like, a film study session. You could have, like, resident scholars, resident film professors come through, share what they thought they saw, and then other people would be like, oh, I thought the episode meant this, and then other people would meant that. That could lead to, like, lively banter. You know, I think that's a good way to spend time.
Okay, just let me know when you're close.
Okay, cool, thanks. I'll see you soon. Oh man, get out of the way!
Okay, everybody, take 5.
Hi, Casey. This is Simone. I'm getting ready to mail some checks out, and on the address line, one of the artists just put down Peachtree. Is there any way I can get some clarification on that? Okay, give me a call back. Thank you. Bye.
Now would be a good time to check in with Klimchak to see how his journey to the treehouse is faring. Let's join him now.
Oh God, I'm so turned around now. I don't even know if I'm going in the right direction anymore. There's so many peach trees around here, and they all seem like they look the same.
Peach tree, peach tree, peach tree, tree, peach 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 tree, traffic, you know. Traffic, you know. Traffic, you know. Peachtree Street. Wanna be like Peachtree Street. Wanna be like West Peachtree Street. Wanna be like Peachtree Corner. Peachtree Battle. Wanna be like Peachtree Circle. Peachtree Square. Circle. Square. Peachtree Street. Peachtree Street. Peachtree Street. I'm still figuring it out. Who knows what happens after you die?
Back at the treehouse.
Okay, so we are gonna just keep this thing moving, Emily. I guess, like, sticking with the topic of crazy things happening in our world, there just seems to be so much division and just, I don't know, like people misunderstanding one another over seemingly just completely insignificant things, right? So, like, in your opinion, how can people find ways to connect over those things?
So essentially you're asking, what are ways that we can kind of use our differences to come together versus using differences to be things that repel us away from each other?
You know, I absolutely love it when guests frame questions more succinctly than I do. Yes, that is what I meant.
Oh, okay. Man, you know, we're quick to, I guess, just like cancel people without fully understanding the root of who or why they became who they are. And so I think in saying that, I think the best thing to do, number one, is to always lead with compassion. Because when I see someone or when I just encounter someone who's like different, I'm not, number one, turned off by that. But then when I start seeing things that don't feel, or in terms of like their behavior or things that they do that are like, I guess, not morally right or whatever, I'm like, okay, what is their background? I start getting curious about like, what did they come from? How did they become this human being? What has shaped their perspective? What were they around? And I think a lot of times when I start asking those questions and then you start talking to people.
I Oh my goodness, I am so freaking sorry about this.
No, it's all good.
This is Klimchak, the other sound guy, actually, which is kind of great. Give me just a few seconds. Hold on. Klimchak, hey, it sounds like you are en route, which is great because as soon as you get here, I would love to chat with you about your strategies for creative collaboration. And maybe,
I don't really have a general one, honestly. I mean, it's different every person I collaborate with. When I'm working on a film, say, everything is going to be locked in place and down to the microsecond. So I'm locked into that time code and nothing's improvised and it's all, written out. But if I'm doing like a solo show or even a theater piece, there's a certain amount of looseness to it, because the actors are going to be different every night. So I've written a framework and kind of work within that framework. So that's that way for that. Now, when I'm doing solo work, it's usually really improvised. I mean, I kind of pick 20 or 30 instruments I'm going to use for a performance and figure out some way to put all that together in a half an hour show. So.
Well, that's great. Save some of that for the tape. Oh, it's so great. But when you get here, when you are here, we can chat all about you and why you decided to make Atlanta your home base and
I stayed
right. No,
because I started making, connections.
Could you maybe? Okay. No. Okay.
That's the big thing. Particularly if you're not like in a band or something, you kind of make your connections, and that connection base is how you get your work. It's how you get your calls. So I've lived in Atlanta now for about 40 years, and I've got a big base at this point. I've got people that call me for all sorts of things, I might get called to do an art opening, or I might get called to do a film score, or I, might get called for whatever, and that's what's good about Atlanta. Now, when I came here in the 80s, Atlanta was really cheap, and that's one of the reasons I initially stayed. My first place, when I was playing with RuPaul and them in the Now Explosion and all that groups of people, I was my rent was $100 a month, and I mean that was cheap for Atlanta then, but you could find those kind of things. And probably I would not be the artist I am today if I didn't have that. That meant that I didn't really have to have a job. Even starting out, before I could make a living in music, I just had to find some small amount of money every month to cover that rent and food, and I was young and didn't really care about anything else. So, that was it for me. It would be harder, I think, now for a younger person coming up because it's not cheap like that anymore. Just like most of the young artists have moved out of New York because it's just untenable now. Everybody that I know who's even a middle-aged artist sort of lives in Philadelphia or someplace, and commutes in just because you can't afford it anymore. Atlanta is borderline. I'm sure there are still cheaper places around, but I don't know them anymore. I think for every artist, you should really think about living in a city, just because you need that amount of artists in the city to inspire you, particularly when you're young. But I mean, it was really important in my formative years to be able to go out and see and be exposed to all these different things I had never thought of before.
Klimchak, hold that thought for me, please. I'm getting another call. Just hang on 1 second. Hang on. Hey.
Hey, Casey. It's Caroline. I'm doing some research on today's guests, and one of them claims that their hometown is the Peachtree alternate universe. Does that seem right? Just want to fact check.
Let me call you back. Okay, Coop, Jake, can y'all vamp for me?
Yeah.
Just a little bit longer, please. Y'all are doing great. Thank you. Just keep rolling on Emily.
Yep.
Maybe Mark's close. He's calling me again.
Yeah. Cool. Sure. Cool. All right.
Hey, Mark. Are you here? Are you close?
Hey, Casey. I'm at the lake.
Why are you at the lake?
Yeah. The lake was calling to me.
The lake?
And I heard a voice that said, it's the lake. And, strange enough, I've never been, but I just kind of like followed the voice that was kind of guiding me. You know what I'm saying? And I drove, found this lake, and here I am, approaching the precipice of the water. It's weird because it's like I see like a lot of skull and bones from like previous people that I guess like washed up ashore from walking directly into the lake, perhaps
go the other way
by a similar voice. That's what it seems like it is, but I'm just gonna start treading into the water here. Yeah.
Maybe you should not.
Okay, you know what, Casey? Now that I'm under water and I realize that I can't
You're
breathe.
underwater.
But I am seeing a lake spirit. The lake spirit was calling me this whole time. It looks like this is probably not going to end well for me, but I'm remaining optimistic.
Mark, I don't want you to...
I'm no source of oxygen, but I'll see how this goes. I might be delayed a little bit, I'm so sorry. I hope the interview and everything goes really well. I seem to be getting very good service.
Yeah, you sound great.
At the bottom of this lake, and I probably have like a good 67... I don't know how long I can hold my breath, but if we want to do the interview right now, I can do it from underwater. If that...
That's okay. I will get back to you. Just give me 1 sec. Okay, so this has all just been fantastic, Emo. We're gonna just wrap it up. Just have a final question for you about differences and how we can learn to accept situations as they are, even when we as a society may not be coming from the same direction.
Yeah, so essentially, like when I'm encountering people that are different from me and I just start to see like drastic differences, my first question is always like, what how did you grow up, or what was, I guess, in your world that formed and shaped those perspectives? And when I ask those questions internally, and even just like when I'm engaging with the person, I feel like a lot of times I uncover things that allow me to lead with compassion versus judgment. And I think really at the end of the day, it's like we have to, when we come in contact with people in general, we always have to be aware of the fact that like we aren't perfect people ourselves. And a lot of times, even when I feel myself judging, I'm like, well, wait a minute. If somebody knew this thing about something you did when you were like 22 or something, it's like, okay, you could be judged in the same way that you're judging. And so I always try to like remove judgment, lead with compassion, and really remain inquisitive, because I feel like that's the thing that we lose as adults. I see it in kids, like when they come up, it's more of they lead with curiosity before they lead with judgment. And it's like we have to remain curious about the world and about people, because we're actually all the same. And I know this sounds like We Are the World, but I watched this, I forget the name of the documentary, it was on PBS, but they analyzed the DNA of people from like different countries, like Asian people from Africa, whatever the case may be. And they first led by saying like, hey, who do you think you'll be most similar to? Like who will your, whose DNA will you kind of like align with? And the people that they guessed, even in their culture, it was not the case. It was like people who were drastically different, and it illuminated the fact that like we come from the same pot. It's just that the things that have happened over time in terms of like geographic changes and all of that have kind of changed like what the outside, but internally as human beings, we're really the same. So that was like, yo, that changed my perspective, because I'm like, what are we fighting over? If you at the core, when you look at our genetic makeup, like yes, there are some differences, but when you look at the code, it's the proof is in the pudding there. So we're fighting over stuff that doesn't matter. You know what I mean? And the differences make things spicy. It adds, culture, and it can make it can create a great space for like cool outcomes, but I just feel like we're fighting and focusing on things that don't actually matter. And even in like growing and scaling the things that I'm doing, I'm learning like I can't do everything, and it's like, what's something that you can do that I can't? And how can we merge that together to make some kind of like bigger, grander thing? So yeah, I don't know. That's just kind of like my perspective on that.
Wow, that's absolutely beautiful. It doesn't matter if we're different or the same or even in the same physical location, apparently, as long as we're together in our hearts. Because when you think about it, no one really knows what happens after you die. Die. April Fools! Thank you for joining us on this wild ride. The theme Far Out was first given to writer-comedian Mark Kendall, whose wacky directions led our guest audio artist, Emmolei Sankofa, to compose a musical ode to her hometown of Atlanta, which became this episode's special theme music. Klimchak, the avant-garde musician and mastermind behind the Peachtree Street remix, then took Mark's written source material to new dimensions. Far out indeed. Our guest's creative journey inspired me to dare to try something different, and I really hope you all dug it. Oh yeah, shout out to Lexi, Cooper, Jake, Simone, and Caroline, the amazing production team behind You Heard Me Right. Because I was literally like, hey, I need y'all to record some lines completely out of context, but it'll probably make sense later. And then they totally did it because they're awesome. Oh, and special thanks to our guest announcer, Emmanuel.
Be sure to tune into a very special season 1 finale.
Okay, Emmanuel, you did a super great job, but I'll do this part right now. Be sure to tune into our very special season 1 finale next week. Man, does time fly. We'll hear you later. This episode featured guest writer Mark Kendall and our 2 audio artists, Emmolei Sankofa and Klimchak. Featured appearances by Lexi McKay, Cooper Skinner, Jacob McCoy, Caroline Baxter, and Simone Brown. You Heard Me Right is a Spotify Sound Up original series and was workshopped as part of the Sound Up Accelerator program at Spotify headquarters in New York City. From Could Be Pretty Cool Productions, this episode was produced and edited by Casey Willis, with help from Cooper Skinner and Jacob McCoy. Mixing and sound design by Cooper Skinner. Our executive producers are Casey Willis, Cooper Skinner, and Lexi McKay. Our writer and story editor is Caroline Baxter, and our production accountant is Simone Brown. Special thanks to Greg at Listen Up Audio, Kanye Willis, Remy, and Bema. From Spotify, executive producers Gina Delvac, Baron Farmer, Natalie Tulloch, and Jane Zumwalt. For more information about today's guest artists, visit us at heardrightpod.com or follow us on IG at heardrightpod. Thanks for listening.